Welcome to the Comfortable in Chaos Podcast. Strangle your demons and let's go.
Y'all need Jesus!
They smile in your face, all the while they want to take your place. The Backstabbers. Welcome to the Comfortable in Chaos Podcast. I am your host, Eric Hellberg, and we're like Einstein over here. We have no special talents. We're just passionately curious about all things pertaining to men. How in the hell did we get here? And where is it that we want to go? Man, here's where I'm going today. This is going to be a short snippet. I know you guys have kind of gotten used to long snippets, long serenades, as you will, on topics that meander and wind through the ways of the world. But we're going to be dead on this time. I'm inspired. It's going to be short, and I'm going to roll that into another episode called Rage Against the Machine, and it's not going to go where you are thinking. But what got me in this mood, and do we not have different moods, man? Can we be up? Can we be down? Of course we can. It ebbs and flows with our energy, how we are feeling. I would even venture to tell you that it ebbs and flows based upon your connection or lack therein to the world around you, your loved ones around you, and maybe even how you feel about yourself, if you actually know. A buddy of mine, he's a very simple and pious man, a very cerebral man, a godly man. But he's been having trouble. And I'm like, what in the world, man? God has not endowed you with any of these purported blessings. You've heard me do an episode on carnal Christians, right? And how they're more worldly with their religious veil than unchurched people. We need to throw that shit out, that's for sure. We are all fallen. I've already detailed all of that. But let's jump into this. And you notice I started with that great song by the OJs. Hell, even the OJs knew. There's backstabbers out there. That's just a product of the world that we live in. It's our job to circumnavigate through all this BS. Now, it can be toilsome, but it can be done. So, here's what I want you men to do. I know you're going to like this episode. I know that you have liked other episodes. Write me a review on iTunes. Let's spread this word. Hell, if you have a bad review, put it on there. We learn. We grow. We adapt. Give me something a little bit contrary. So far, everyone seems to like it. All the feedback that I get. Send something else. Hell, if we need to contest it, you and I, let's do it. All right, let's talk about these things. What God has not done. And you know what? Just like me, I'm learning more about Him. I am reading my Bible for the first time with some consistent effort than I ever have in my life. It was always superficial, glossed over it, right? You get mired down in the Old Testament, hell, you probably fall asleep. But the New Testament catches you a little bit more because it tells stories. I like to tell stories. That's why you guys are here listening. That is what I like to do. I've made a very good living by telling stories and being able to meander verbally through very precarious predicaments. And I'm still here doing this message. And you know who I give credit to for that? At one point, it may have been myself. But not fully. But now I know fully it wasn't me. That's just an attribute that was provided to me. And each and every one of you men have them for yourself. But in the course of utilizing those, you have not been granted, number one, from God, a trouble-free life. A lot of this information I've been kind of piecing together as I've been listening to friends of mine and listening to their travails and hardships. And then I saw a short video by Chris Reese, last name spelled R-E-E-C-E. I think she's excellent. And that helped me further adapt this. You have not been provided, number one, a trouble-free life. Look it up in John. I don't need to quote you the verses in John. Look it up so you can become more scholarly, more knowledgeable, and then put it into practice for yourself. God has not provided you a trouble-free life. That's part of demonstrating faith in the face of adversity. Okay, let's go to the book of James. You have not been promised by God a trial-free life. You will have trials under fire, whatever fire is for you. Whatever it is for you that will put you in the proverbial hot seat, something that you are contending with. Hell, it could have originated in childhood, but it will be brought to bear. And as it details in James, you are called to endure it. Number 3, God has not promised you a consequence-free life. Dude, if you go off the friggin' res and/or you ignore things, you will face consequences. We've been given free will in which to operate here. Some of us are going to do it better than others. Some of us are going to do it abhorrently. And when those things occur, there are consequences. That may be called a godly rebuke. Number 4. Now, very much opposed to Mr. Joel Osteen, Kenneth Copeland, Joyce Meyer. Run the litany of those buffoons. And that's why I'm doing this message. You have not been promised wealth. God speaketh, let's go King James. God speaketh many blessings upon your life should you follow his ways. Wealth is not one of them. Don't buy into that. It's a total lie. The world espouses otherwise, and that's why we are all ensnared. And while all the previous 3, the things of this world, things that can be participated in, things that can be garnered, are designed to speed you up and to distract you. Wealth has not been promised by God. Number 5, you have not been promised an easy life. Why is the difference made between the narrow gate and the wide gate? I think the wide gate is actually for all those purported men and women of faith who think all these are guarantees from God, and as long as they're receiving them, they're doing right. Guess what? They're wrong. Job didn't do anything wrong, did he? He went to hell and back. In fact, the conversation occurred between the Lord and the devil, specifically regarding his faithful servant Job. His wife turned his back on him, asked him to curse God. His family, friends turned their back on him. He went through unbelievable suffering and trial. You know what, though? When he passed muster, he was given more bounty in all aspects of his life, and actually the cataracts were removed from the lenses of his eyes, and he was in relationship with the Lord. But what was on the other side was more than he ever could have imagined. And the Lord will test your character to get you ready for the next place that he wants to take you. So have heart. When you're out of whatever it feels that you need to keep going, find a way to keep going. Ask him for the ability beg him for the ability. But do keep going, and you will receive your reward. And it will not be in the form of any of these other things. It will be better than what you could have ever imagined. Until next time on the Comfortable in Chaos podcast, I am your host, Eric Hellberg, and I bid you bon voyage, my burgeoning flock.
Until next time, like and subscribe to the Comfortable in Chaos podcast.